What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about 4 games I fear we may never see again. Now, I thought of this idea when Crisis 4, when we talked about that in its own video, so that is going to be one of these 4, but I want to take that kind of springboard off of it. We'll start with Crisis, we'll kind of go through the reasons, and we'll just go through these 4 games. Thought this would be like a fun type video. I mean, I think it is going to be fun, and it may be therapeutic, but also quite depressing, because I hope I'm wrong with all 4, okay? I want to be wrong with all 4, and I hope this is a reverse jinx with all 4 of these, that when I say it, then next week we hear about all 4 of them, okay? Just to put that out there. However, let's start with Crisis, because that is the one that is the most recent. That's the most recent sting, right? So if you didn't watch that video, I mean, I made a video just a few days ago, but Crytek put out a statement literally saying they were putting that game on hold. Now, I'm going to reach, right? And the point of this video, games that I think we might never see again. There's no guarantee one way or the other. But with Crisis 4, it's like, okay, well, now it's literally put on hold. We know they're shifting the entire company just to focus on live service. And I said in that video, and I'll say here, I mean, what are the chances you actually go back, right? Because now you're all in. You're all in on one game, by the way, Hunt Showdown. You're all in on that game. If that game were to fail, if that game were to have a bad 3 months, you are screwed. You are entirely screwed as a company. There will be no going back to pick up Crisis 4, okay? I personally think it's a bad idea. We talked about it more in that video, but Crisis 4 I wanted to do is the first one because it's just sad. You know, I'm a big fan of Crisis. I kind of came in late. Came in around Crisis 2 time, okay? But Crisis 2 and 3, the games I've played infinitely more than Crisis 1. I love them. I love them to death, and I think that Crisis 4, done right, would have been an incredible game, and probably would have also saved Crytek versus what they're doing now. So that is number 1. Number 2, it's time to bring up an old friend in the KOTOR remake. Now, again, I hope I'm wrong with this one too. As we go, the longer we go, the more unrealistic it feels. Or, you know, honestly, it doesn't feel like it's going to happen. That's the honest truth. Every month, every year, that we get further away from when, you know, they originally showed it off. And there's been signs, right? Like I talked about, I think I actually made a video on this one right around the New Year time, where if you look at Saber Interactive and you look at their social media posts and what they're posting, even on their own website, the kind of language they're using, right? They talk about their upcoming games, and these are games that, yes, some of them might have like release years attached to them, but some of them don't, and they're just kind of like close to coming out next year or two. KOTOR is not ever on any of these. They never mention them in their bios. They never post pictures. They never talk about it on their own website. It's as if the game is canceled. And then you go to all those rumors that we've talked about for the last 2-3 years, right, of are people actually working on this game? Now, like Jason Schreier at one point said that there were, but it doesn't seem like there's that many, right? And so is this game literally actually being worked on? And the answer is probably not. Like, if I were to take just a why be so optimistic about this game? What has the game ever done for me? The new game, the remake, I should say. You know what I mean? So for me, again, I want this game to just show up. I want somebody to write an article on this game. I want to read a Schreier article or Jeff Grubb to talk about it on a random Wednesday and just say that, yeah, the game's doing okay. Like, the game is still in development. Just say that, because the longer we go, the more I start to believe that the game isn't even in development anymore. Okay, number 3, this one hurts, but I felt I wanted to make this a 4-game list, and I was trying to think of numbers 3 and 4. I'll be honest, Crisis and KOTOR were the first 2 I thought of. Number 3, I'm going to say The Wolf Among Us 2, and if there's a game that I want to be more wrong with than any other, it's either this or the next one that we'll get to in a second. But Wolf, I mean, I've said it a bunch of times. I've made a bunch of videos on the game. I care about the first game deeply. I care about old Telltale deeply. It's hard. I mean, I want to root for it, so I guess I'm not saying like it's hard to root for them. It's hard to remain optimistic for what's going on. You know, it's honestly the same thing for all of these games, right? I am generally an optimist. I am generally on game sides more than I'm not. I get called things online for being so optimistic on games, you know, versus other people. So I genuinely believe it, and then people sometimes just have problems with it, but what can you really do in this life, right? But I have that kind of belief for all of them. It's the same thing with Wolf. Like, I want the game to do well. I want the game to come out. But at the same time, again, the longer that it goes, what has the game done for me to make me believe that it's still happening? And specifically, I would say this feeling, which I'll try to describe, this feeling that I have for Wolf Among Us 2, it feels different than the other 3, including this last one that I'm about to say. It feels different because I feel like one day I'm just going to wake up to the announcement. Does that make sense? Like, I woke up to that Crisis 4 thing. You wake up kind of to anything in life, right? But I've really, more than any of these, feel like one day I'm going to wake up, open up Twitter, open up X, and see a post from Telltale saying that the company is shut down and Wolf Among Us 2 is canceled. I can see it. I can like legitimate. It sucks. Like it sucks that I even have to feel like this. Again, I'm not condemning them. I don't want it to happen, but I really feel like it's possible one of these days. Also, just the way the industry is, right? Like the industry is falling apart. Certain parts of it, at least, right? People are getting laid off all the time, and you have rumors of Telltale years ago with money problems again. So it's like, you know what I mean? I think it's only a matter of time. Now, hopefully that's not true. Hopefully we see it. And if you want to lean into like the posts that they do every half year, a year, where they say, yeah, the game's still happening, you can lean into that. It's the only thing keeping the game alive at this point. But I just wanted to put it on the list. And number 4, yeah, maybe I take Wolf Among Us back. Maybe this one hurts the most because this was the last game that I thought of for this list. And I thought, oh, shoot, it's a game that we now have to consider as a potential cancel candidate, okay? Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is a potential canceled candidate game, and that sucks. That is not something, even with how WB was going, okay? And it obviously hasn't been good the last several years. Even with all that, again, as I always say in these Wonder Woman videos, you know just as well as me, I'm pretty optimistic on this game. I'm one of the most optimistic people on this game, but this game is just beating me down and down and down. What we've heard about it has just destroyed me, as time has gone on. And it's hard, again, I guess you could say to root. It's hard to be excited for a game that's just, where is it? Where is it? We've heard so much about the troubled development. What's the point of even being excited anymore, number one? And then number 2, it's really, there's a difference between almost dropping that excitement. That's kind of what this list is about. There's a difference between like dropping excitement for a game because it's 3 years out versus dropping excitement and then now believing just the opposite, that it's going to get canceled versus releasing. I'll tell you this to end this video. I put these 4 games on. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is not a game I would put on this list. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a game that I actually believe will come out one day. Will it be good? I don't know. Will it be the same Beyond Good and Evil 2 they planned like 15 years ago? Absolutely not. But I do believe a rendition of it will come out. Wonder Woman, you just don't know. You could feel similarly where, yeah, maybe Wonder Woman does come out. Is it the game that we thought it was going to be? They thought it was going to be 4 or 5 years ago? No. We might get it, and I guess that would still be better than nothing. Maybe. It depends on, I guess, the end product. But you know what I mean? There's that difference, too. So it's possible the game comes out. I want it to come out. But is it going to be the version that we thought it was going to be originally? The answer is no. Doesn't have to mean the game is going to be bad, by the way. Could be good. But there's just a lot of unknowns, and it sucks. Like, I feel like Wonder Woman actually hurts the most because it is the one that graduated. Wolf has been here for a bit. That belief that, is it even happening? Or that belief, that tagline right there. Are these games even going to happen anymore? Wonder Woman, at least to me, I know other people have doubted this game's existence for like 3 years. You were right. You have nothing to fear. You got it. But for me, this is the game that graduated. This is the game that went from, all right, they've given me no reason to believe them. They don't even seem to like me. I've talked about like the copyright strikes and stuff, like all this jazz, but I'm rooting for the game. It's graduated to, okay, now there's no point to get excited for anything. Not going to do it for Wonder Woman. And then number 2, I don't even know if the game will actually release at this point. It's the only game of these 4 that's really moved up. By the way, Transformers Reactivate would have been on this list like a month ago, but as we know, that game was canceled. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.